Hello friends, I welcome you all to our channel DNB's Knowledge Hub. Today we are going to have a thorough discussion on an upcoming IPO of a very well-known company called Zomato Limited. This IPO opens on 14th July 2021 and the closing date, that is the last date to apply for this IPO, will be 16th July 2021. Face value of shares will be 1 per share. IPO price will range from 72 to 76 rupees per share. Market lot will be 195 shares. Minimum lot will be 1, which will consist 195 shares, which will amount to 14,820. Maximum lot for which we can apply will be 13, that will consist 2,535 shares, which will amount to 1,92,660. Listing will take place on the platform of NSE and BSE. Now friends, let us see about the company, its nature of activities been undertaken, its history and the associations of this company. Basically, Zomato was started as DC Foodie Online Services Private Limited on 18th January 2010 by two IIT Delhi alumni, Dipender Goyal and Pankaj Chadda. DC Foodie Online Services Private Limited was renamed as Zomato Media Private Limited on May 2012. In the year 2020, Zomato Media Private Limited was renamed as Zomato Private Limited. Consequent upon conversion from a private limited into public limited company, it was renamed as Zomato Limited on April 2021. Launched in 2010, company's technology platform connects customers, restaurant partners and delivery partners, serving their multiple needs. Customers uses this platform to search and discover restaurants, read and write customer generated reviews, and view and upload photos, order food delivery, book a table and make payments while dining out at restaurants. On the other hand, company provides restaurant partners with industry specific marketing tools which enable them to engage and acquire customers to grow their business while also providing a reliable and efficient last mile delivery service. Company also operate a one-stop procurement solution, Hyperpure, which supplies high quality ingredients and kitchen products to the restaurant partners. As of December 31st, 2020, Zomato has established a strong footprint across 23 countries with 131,233 active food delivery restaurants, 161,637 active delivery partners, and on an average monthly food order of 10.7 million customers. Now, let us see who are the company's promoter. Basically, Zomato is professionally managed company and there is no identifiable promoters under SEBI ICDR regulation and Companies Act. Offer for sale, the selling shareholder, that is InfoEdge India Limited, which is very well known as Naukri.com, will be entitled to its respective proportion of the proceeds of offer for sale aggregating up to 3,750 million after deducting its proportion of offer expense and relevant taxes thereon. Our company, that is Zomato, will not receive any proceeds from offer for sale and the proceeds received from the offer for sale will not form part of the net proceeds. This paragraph has been taken from RHP filed by Zomato with SEBI. Objects for utilization of proceeds will be funding organic and inorganic growth initiatives and for general corporate purposes. Now friends, let us see the capital structure of the company. If we see the authorized share capital, it has been divided into equity shares as well as preference shares. Total number of authorized share capital in terms of equity shares are 88,000 lakhs and preference shares are 568 crores 63 lakhs 29,341. If we see the issued, subscribed and paid up equity share capital, it is 666 crores 9 lakhs 69,150. Securities premium stands at 1,26,451.38 millions. Now friends, let us see the shareholding pattern. Who are the shareholders? Shareholders holding more than 1%. These data is been taken from RHP filed by Zomato with SEBI. So let us see what it states. Info Edge India Limited was holding 27.45% of the company's share 2 years prior to the date of DRHP, which was reduced to 24.24% on 1 year prior to date of filing of DRHP, and on the date of filing of RHP it was 18.68%. If we see the second one, Uber BV, right? It is holding 9.19% on the date of filing of RHP, which was 9.99% prior to 1 year of date of filing of DRHP. Alipay Singapore Holding, it was holding 17.16% 2 years to prior to date of filing of DRHP, which was reduced to 15.15% and 8.39% on the date of RHP. Right? If we see, there are multiple changes which have taken place. In case of Antfin Singapore Holding Pte, it was 10.40% prior to 2 years of date of filing of DRHP, which was increased to 10.72% 1 year prior to date of filing of DRHP, but it reduced to 8.26% as on the date of filing of DRHP. Internet Fund, it was prior, before this it was not having any kind of holding, that is 1 year prior and 2 years prior, but as on the date of filing of RHP it is 6.04%. If we see the SCI growth investments too, it was 9.59%, which reduced to 8.47%, which was further reduced to 6.03% as on the date of RHP. If we see the holding of Dipender Goyal, it was 9.05%, which reduced to 8% and which has reduced down to 5.55%. Right. If we see the Foodie Bee Employees ESOP Trust, it was 6.17%, which reduced to 5.45% and which further reduced to 4.20%. If we see the holding of DI Master Capital Partner LP, prior to this RHP, that is 1 year prior to the date of DRHP and 2 years prior to the date of DRHP, there was no holding. But as on the date of filing of RHP, the holding is 3.83%. The same is the case with Macregy Investments Pte Limited. It is 3.68%. Dundron Investments Mauritius Pte, it was 3.78%, which reduced to 3.34% and further it reduced to 2.57%. Korea Investment 1 2 LLC and Korea Investment 2 C LLC, the same was the case, that is it was not having any kind of holding 1 year prior to the date of DRHP and 2 years prior to the date of DRHP, but they are having the holding as on the date of RHP, that is 2.55% and 2.18% respectively. If we see the case of VY Investments Mauritius Limited, it was 3.70%, which was reduced to 3.27% and which further reduced to 2.52%. If we see the case of Delivery Hero SC, there is also reduction, that is from 2.37% to 2.09% and that to 1.61%. So here we can observe here, that is, if we see the holding of Delivery Hero SC, it was 2.37%, which reduced to 2.09% and which further reduced to 1.61%. In case of Sequoia Capital India Growth Investment Holdings, the case is repeating, that is, it reduced to 1.86% from 2.10% and the holding as on the date of filing of RHP reduced to 1.32%. Gladbrook Private Investors, it was 1.92, which reduced to 1.70 and which further reduced to 1.31%. Sunlight Fund LP, it was holding 1.37%, right? But it reduced to 1.21%. And if we see the status as on the date of filing of RHP, it is holding nothing. That means it might reduce to below 1%, right? So overall, the shareholding pattern, the shareholders holding more than 1% is been reducing gradually. Now friends, let us see the restated financial information of the company. If we see the total revenue, it was 13,977.17 for the year ending 31st March 2019, 27,427.39 for the year ending 31st March 2020, and 21,184.24 for the year ending 31st March 2021. If we see the profit after taxes, the company is making continuous loss by 3 years, which was 10,105.14 for the year ending 31st March 2019, 23,856.01 for the year ending 31st March 2020, and 8,164.28 for the year ending 31st March 2021. If we see the total assets, it was 34,134.05 as on 31st March 2019, which reduced to 29,003.82 as on 31st March 2020, and it increased to 87,035.43 as on 31st March 2021. Now the question rises that in spite of making losses, why the assets of the company has increased? So the answer is, the company has increased its non-current assets as well as other financial assets as well as current assets. If we see the non-current assets as on 31st March 2019, it was 4,415.65, which increased to 16,370.25, which was further increased to 45,530.01. If we see the other financial assets, it was 121.06, which reduced to 104.76, which increased to 30,062.67. Now, if we see the current assets, it was 29,780.40, which reduced to 12,633.57, which further increased to 41,505.42. Now, which kind of assets the company has increased? So, the company had started investing in mutual funds. Hence, due to investment in such mutual funds, the total assets has increased gradually. The same is the case with equity shareholders fund. If we see the balance of equity shareholders fund as on 31st March 2019, it stands at 25,684.80. It was 7,032.81 as on 31st March 2020, but it increased to 80,930.08 as on 31st March 2021. Why? Because the company has increased its reserve in the form of securities premium. The company has converted certain cumulative preference shares into equity shares, and according to this activity, the balance of securities premium fund has increased. Now friends, let us see the contingent liabilities of the company. The total claim against the group which was not acknowledged as debt in the books of accounts by the company stands at 957.40 million, which includes dividend at 0.01 million. Actions with respect to copyrighted work stands at 20 million. Payment of service tax on sales by foreign branches at subsidiaries stands at 920.99 millions. Income tax demand notice is 7.66 millions. Consumer and other legal matters includes 8.74 millions. The group has been served with a notice by Competition Commission of India under Regulation 48 of the Competition Commission of India Regulations 2009, read with Section 43A of the Competition Act 2002 in relation to the acquisition of Uber Eats and acquisition of shares in Zomato by Uber India. With this friends, we are concluding over here. I hope this video will be useful for you. It will be useful for you that whether we should apply for this IPO or we should avoid this IPO. If you find it useful, please like it and share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thank you so much for listening to us.